This is my rating and review for the first Berserker Khazan. If you're asking yourself, should I buy this? I hope that this helps you to answer that question. The first Berserker Khazan is a Souls-like style action game, a genre known by not typically being for the faint of heart. Games in this subgenre of action can be punishing, discouraging, and can add stress to your life if you allow them. However, for a lot of people, if they get past the first few hours of these games, they find that the reward is worth the journey. Finally getting that final hit on a boss that had previously been destroying you a few times, or maybe a few 100,000 times. Finally getting to the next safe area or bonfire when you've been stuck or had to grind for a couple hours. Those victories, when finally achieved, are such a feeling of accomplishment. I've broken this review up into 4 categories. The first category is environment, mission maps, hub area, visuals, and graphics. The second category is combat, inventory, and progression systems. The third category is story and character. And for the final category, it's bugs and game performance. The environment of the game, my rating is 8.5 out of 10. This game did have a lot to offer in terms of environment. However, this is not completely open like some other Souls-like games. You transport to a mission map from a hub area, complete your mission, and then move on or transport back to your hub area. When completing these missions, I would spend typically an hour on a map for main missions and about 20 minutes for a side mission. For this game's hub area, it progresses as you do, which is a system I always enjoy in a game. I grew up playing Digimon World and building up my town while I was exploring. It kind of reminded me of that. As you progress, you unlock helpful NPCs for your hub area, such as a merchant, blacksmith, and many more. It was done very well. Definitely felt like my home away from home during my time with the game. The graphics in this game are phenomenal, crisp environments, and during cutscenes, characters look like they were straight out of comic books or anime. I have no complaints about map, character, or enemy aesthetic. My reason for this category being 8.5 and not higher is solely personal. I didn't have as many memorable moments on these maps as I have with other games in this genre. However, this level-like structure and lack of grand open exploring made the game great in other ways. I never felt bored and always felt like it was constantly intense. But I didn't have any sights or moments that stopped me in my tracks and made me want to just take it all in. For the next category, combat, inventory, and the progression systems, my rating is a 9.5 out of 10. The combat was just about perfect in a lot of ways. It was fast, brutal, and rewarding. There are 3 different types of weapons that you can wield. Dual-wield weapons, which are quick, flashy, and highly mobile. Great swords, which are slow, heavy, hard-hitting, and great for breaking enemy posture. And last but not least, what ended up being my favorite, the spear, which I would describe as the perfect middle ground in terms of speed between the other 2 weapons. Still quick, great reach, and excellent for exhaust damage. Additionally, you do have a javelin that can be thrown for range damage. Having only 3 main weapon types did feel very streamlined for this type of title, and I felt that it was fitting for the pacing of the game. As a player, I felt like I had time to try and master each weapon type during my first playthrough, learning their strengths and learning what felt best for my personal playstyle. Another good thing to note is that each weapon type scales with certain attributes, so when you level up, make sure you are selecting the right attributes that scale with your selected weapon to increase your damage. For the game's inventory, the game gives you a whopping amount of 500 slots for weapons and gear, and an additional 500 slots within a chest in the hub area. So you have plenty of room to work with, which is good because this game drops as much loot as some looter shooters that I've played, especially if you're wearing the Bard set, increasing your drops among other amazing bonuses. Don't miss out on using it for grinding. For the progression systems, I don't want to go too in depth because I want you to see them for yourself. But the progression systems are done very well. Like other Souls-like games, your level up currency is gained from defeating enemies, can only be spent when at a Blade Nexus, this game's version of a bonfire. So if you die before reaching one, all of your lacrima, your souls, are dropped on your death location. If you die before reaching and retrieving them, they are lost. In the hub area, you will get access to more progression systems that give you passive stats and also progression for your weapons and armor. Weapon and armor crafting and progression is the only reason I didn't give this section a 10. As I progressed through the game, I only crafted weapons and armor a handful of times, and when I did, I usually found gear pieces in the next mission that made them obsolete. Because of this, I honestly would recommend saving your resources for times when you get stuck and feel like you need an upgrade to progress. The next category that I'm rating is story and character. My rating for this category is a 9 out of 10. This genre is all about combat, so rating it by genre, this story was very good. As the player, we play as Khazan, a general marked as a traitor. He embarks on a quest for revenge paired with another entity that I don't want to spoil, combating chaos and scars from his past. The story wasn't mind-blowing, but it was good and it made a clear objective for the game while letting the combat be the star of the show. And that brings me to my final category to rate, which is bugs and performance, and my rating is a 10. I had no issues with this title while playing on an Xbox Series X. 0 crashes, no frame rate drops, no stuttering or input delays. So my rating altogether, including all of my categories: environment, an 8.5 out of 10, combat, inventory, and progression systems, a 9.5 out of 10, story and character, 9 out of 10, bugs and performance, 10 out of 10, brings me to a 9.25 out of 10 rating for the first Berserker Khazan. If you made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you find this helpful or that this video inspires someone to play this game.